So, something that I found myself recently doing a lot is planning my future projects around my strengths and weaknesses. And I've found that this kind of stuff really starts way earlier in the planning process than most people really think. So today I just wanted to share how I am personally navigating through my own strengths and weaknesses, and maybe for those of you who are in similar situations might find this useful. So for starters, the biggest weakness that I have of late is simply not having a lot of spare time. Pretty much the only spare time I have now is spent making content for you guys here on YouTube. So any kind of project that I work on at all either has to also be something that I can share here with you guys, and also extremely simple and scalable so that it's not too big. I used to make projects that had lots of different characters, but it always cost me many years of my life in order to finish. And when I really thought about it, I noticed that most of my favorite games do not have, 95 characters like Genshin Impact. They usually have a single, flushed out, and polished protagonist. For example, in Stellar Blade, instead of making a bunch of different characters, they kinda really only have one. And if you want a little variety, they have different skins and colors that you can choose from. Same thing with Nier Automata with 2B, Master Chief from Halo, or Link from Zelda. That's just something that I really started to notice is a lot of my favorite games kind of just focus on a single character. And from a developer perspective, it's a lot easier to do that than to make 20 different characters that have to be fun in their own way. So from the very beginning, I kind of figured that I needed to make a single fun character that I could see myself enjoying developing over a long period of time. And when I really thought about it, when I asked myself, what is my favorite type of character? It really was, without a doubt, girls with swords. I don't know what it is, but you just show me a beautiful woman holding a beautiful blade with beautiful animations and I'm sold. So I wanted my project character to be some sort of sword girl. And when coming up with the design for her, I had two main things on my mind. The first was Saber from Fate Stay Night. I just love how simple and elegant her outfit is, especially with the armor on it. It was just perfect. And the second thing on my mind was my favorite character from Soul Calibur, which is Cassandra. I just love how fun and animated her movements are. And she's also just got such a spunky, bright, big, bouncy, personality. Yeah, that's what I like about her. Definitely her personality. But anyways, so the general gist of the design was gonna be the simple, dignified feel of Saber and the acrobatic style of fighting from Cassandra. And that's pretty much what we got. Now, once the main design was finished, I made a few extreme developer decisions to make sure that I was saving myself as much trouble as possible. And one of those big changes was she no longer has long hair. Now, I personally love long hair. It was a very tough decision for me to let it go, but as a technical artist who spends all day fixing, clipping, rigging, and hair shenanigans, I really just didn't want to come home from work and then fix more hair. So, I don't know, what can I say? It's short now, and it's gonna stay that way. The second big thing is her face is covered, and the main reason for this is simple. Faces are really hard to make look good, especially if you have photorealistic textures like we do with Substance Painter. And I knew from the beginning that it was gonna suck ass to try and make her face look good while it's talking and looking around. She does have a pretty face under there, but to save time as a dev, we're just not gonna deal with it. The only objectively bad decision that I made was to give her high heels. High heels just create a lot of problems when interacting with marketplace default animations because the original Quinn model doesn't have any heels. And this has already caused me a lot of headaches, and it will probably continue to do so, but there's just something about a pretty woman in heels that I really like. So that was the one thing that I refused to compromise on for this design. Now, aside from the heels, she shares the exact same skeleton and proportions, bone for bone, as the default female mannequin. If you were to line up both of their bodies, you would see that even the finger bones are perfectly aligned with the default mannequin. And that was to ensure that there would be no issues or errors that require me to fix any hand positions when downloading and using other people's animations from the marketplace. And last, but definitely not least, when I was deciding on the type of sword weapon for her to use, I ended up going with the basic, Cassandra one-handed sword and shield. And there is a specific dev reason for this. You guys might remember that originally she had a two-handed sword animation set, and that was because I'm a big fan of giant Zweihander sword animations. The problem is, animating two-handed weapons is a bitch. It's not that I can't, it's just it takes a lot of extra time and effort that I really don't have available, so we just stuck with one-handed weapons only. And this just makes it so that I can create more animations faster for you guys, which in the end means more content. And honestly, at the end of it all, despite some of the compromises I had to make, I'm pretty happy with how things turned out. She's very simple, especially without the long hair. The dress physics is all handled by Unreal, so I don't have to manually animate that personally. And as far as maintenance goes, really the only headaches that I get from her are the heels. But aside from that, she does the job. I've had a lot of fun animating her for you guys here, and you'll probably see a lot more of her coming in the weeks. But yeah, as you can see, while the character might seem very simple and basic, the design has had a lot of thought put into it and is completely built around all of my personal strengths and personal weaknesses. Everything I like or am good at, like action, beauty, high heels, swords, and armor, they're on full display. And all the things that I'm not good at or I know I don't have time to do, like faces, hair, jewelry, dangling belts, and two-handed weapons, those things have been removed or hidden. And all in all, this just makes it more manageable for me so that I can spend less time fixing things and more time developing things. So yeah, hope that gives you some ideas on how you can implement similar tactics around your own strengths and weaknesses. But in the meanwhile, as always, hope you have a fantastic day and I'll see you around.